Hi all, welcome to the weekly outlook. Boone here from Elliott Wave Pro. So we'll start with the DXY. On the daily we've got WXY and I'm looking for that X up. Just get my pen. So last week I said we're in here somewhere. We can get to this 161.8. We've got to the 161.8. So like I said last week, I wasn't interested in the short. I'm only interested in the buy for this X. So if we go down to H4, we got bullish divergence. If we go down to H1, we have got a trend line break here now. So ideally, look for that buy. Whatever sort of buy you get in here, look for that buy. Your first target will be 38.2. I'll just check that. I'll just check make sure that fib level's correct. Yeah, so this will be your first target here at the 38.2. So look for that buy on the H1. You'll get a buy set up this week, I dare say. Just wait for that correction or flag, and look for that buy. AU. H4. Looking at this as we have to be careful. I'm only looking for the sell. Even last week, I was only looking for the sell. It's broken the top, but this looks like an internal like internal A, B, C in here. And we've got a little flat in here. So there's a B, and we're getting this C down. This could be an X2. So you can look for the short. Definitely want to look for the short, but you're going to have to be a little bit careful. You want a really nice sell setup on the H1. So if you do get a little flag in here, look for the sells, because I am looking at this as an A. This is an A, B, C in here for a flat. So this is an A, B, C, an A, B, C. So I dare say we will get more downside. So look for that C to complete this X. If price does come through and breaks this trend line, you can hold it longer term for a larger correction. And we'll finish off with the Y instead of getting the Z up. EU, pretty much the same thing last week. This was last week I had it as an ABC. We had that bearish divergence, but we lost that bearish divergence now, and it's pretty much the same as AU. We're getting a WXY XZ. So we don't have any bearish divergence, but if we go down onto the H1, sorry, we're getting a sell setup. So I dare say we're at the end of wave Y. Before we get the trend line. So we're getting this trend line break. So you're only looking for sells. Now, we don't want to see, ideally, we want to see price under this trend line, little flag under this trend line and sell. You have to be really careful if you start to see price come back above the trend line. Then it can sort of give you a flat for an A, B, and then a C. You still get that X2 down, but it'll more than likely be a running. So ideally, we just get a little flag underneath this trend line. That's the trade we're looking for, instead of a sort of a flat where it gets more complex. It comes up here. You sort of have to be careful. You still will get that C down, but yeah, it's different structure. So GU, we got a wave Y up. It's bounced off the 161.8 fib. We go down to H1. We should be looking to, I'll just draw this target where we want to look for the target, because we're looking for the sell. So we're looking for the 38.2 and the 50 fib. So if we go down to the H1, we aren't getting a trend line break yet, but only look for the sells. I wouldn't be looking for buys up here. We don't have any bullish divergence. So if you are, a bit of a risk taker, you can still look for the longs, but I'm more interested in the sell. And these will be the targets, 38.2 and 50 fib. NU, H4, we've got bearish divergence on this one. And again, we have to be a bit careful with this one. We've got a trend line in here. And we're getting that break. You have to be careful with this one, because this is the high here, over here. So this can be an A, B, C, and then we get the A, B, C. So this can shoot up. So what we really need to sell it is a flag underneath this trend line. We don't want to see price go back above this trend line, or else more than likely it'll break this top. So we just want a little flag in here. Give us that sell setup, and look for the sell. I'm only looking for the sell. UY, UYH4 finally hit the second target. So my second target would have been here. Pretty sure it hit it on Trading View. Hit my second target, the 100 fib. Oh, that's the 123.6. That's why. But it was 100 fib, so it hit my target. So that was the second target. Finally hit it. Now on the H1, we do have bullish divergence on the H4. We do have bullish divergence. Probably a little bit hard to see, but so we do have that bullish divergence. H1 it's taken off. Really, now you can only wait for the larger correction. You can buy flags as well, but ideally, if you're not in the trade on the break, ideally now we do have a high, so ideally you get the larger correction, trend line break, and little flag in here to buy. That's the safest option. If you're getting flags in here, if you get just getting flags in here, you can buy them, but they're going to be a little bit more riskier. Because it's given us such a big impulse up, you really want the larger correction and trend line break instead of the flags. But you still can take the flag. It's still worth taking the flags if you get little flags, but you're only looking for buys. You, Sheffy, I put out this idea on the week on TradingView. I put out the idea down here somewhere. I was looking for trend line break, flag, and buy. It was it's actually a daily trade. So there is there's possibly a big upside in this. Because I'm looking for this. This was impulsive. So this was impulsive. We got a WX, Y, X, Z in here. We got bullish divergence on the H4. Finish off our B wave. And now I'm looking for this C up on the D1. So ideally, first target is this 100 fib here. So I'm only looking for the buys. If we go to the H1, like I said, we got a trend line break here. Wait for a flag in here, whatever it does in here, and look for that buy. UCAD didn't break the low, unfortunately. I was hoping this one would break the low. Break this wave Y low here. Because at this stage, I can't call it a Z down. This can still be an X2. So if we zoom out a bit. So we got a W, X, Y. Yeah, this can just give it X2 up and then give a Z down because we never broke this low here. Unfortunately, it didn't break that low. And this is very deep. This correction is very deep. So would I have to only go with an X at this stage and before we get a Z down? But you're only looking for the buy at this stage. You're only looking for that buy. So if we go down to H1, so we're sort of getting a flag in here. Well, it's more of a correction than a flag. But yeah, so just wait for the trend line break, little flag in here, and look for that buy. Your target will be, I'll just get a target for you. So your target will be this 100 fib here, 137.01. Gold. I'll put out this idea as well. Last week, if we look at the weekly, we've bounced off this 250 fib here. So ideally, we should start to get this correction. The correction's similar to this. So the first target is, as you can see, the 123.6 and the 38.2. I'm looking for the targets on this one, retracement. Because it's such a big extended wave Y, I don't expect the 50 fib to be hit on this one. I think we'll get the Z up before this 50 fib gets taken out. So only looking for, if we look, so I'm only looking for the sells. Like I've been saying, I've only been looking for the sells on this for a long time. Now that wave Y on the W1 may not be over yet. It's not confirmed that it's over. So, but I'm only looking for sells. This can be an A, B, C up here, and just give it an A, a B, and a C down, and then more upside. So you will have to be careful of that. But yeah, I'm only looking for sells. We sort of got a double top. You can see that price is bouncing off this 250 fib. If we look in here, really what we're after is, I'll get the trend line. So ideally you want that I wouldn't be taking this little flag in here. I'll wait for it to drop in here and give a little flag below the trend line and then take it. Look for the sell. I'd be holding it to the weekly targets, but you're going to have to watch this level here, the 100 fib on this. Now, this may not be over as well. So this may crawl up here and it'll still be an A, B, C. You're still going to get that larger A, B, C down. So this may not be over here, but at this stage, this is the fib. So you'll be looking at this 100 fib here. The price comes down to here. It'll tell you if it's going to give you more upside or if it's going to give you more downside. Okay, but you want to take it. If you get the trend line break and a little flag in, any little flag you get, you want to be looking to sell. Just watch this 100 fib here. Move it to break even, and yeah, if price does, if this isn't the top on the H1 and it comes down here and goes and breaks the top, I'm more interested. Like you could take the little buy if you get the buy set up to break that top, but I'm more interested in only taking the sell, because eventually this is going to fall over, at least down to the 38.2 on the weekly. So I'm only looking for sells. WTI. Like I said last week, I'm only looking for I need a larger correction before I can look for that buy. There's no way you want to be looking for the buy up here. It is sort of giving you a buy setup. This can be some sort of a larger sort of a structure here for a B, because it is sort of giving you a sort of a flag in here, sort of a H4 correction in here. So we're getting a lot of bearish divergence. So it is risky to be buying, but if you do, it's probably because it's so low still. We're only around the $40 mark, $40 a barrel. So if you do get the buy setups, you still can take it. Still can give you a good risk reward, but ideally I'd like to see the larger correction before before I start loading up on the buys. Here, so you're getting a buy set up here. You know, if you get a break out of here, little flag in here, you can buy. You'd have to watch this trend line. If it breaks out, well, then you get another flag in here. You could add. But yeah, at this stage, there is no sell setup on it. There is no bullish divergence either. So if you do get the sell, it's just, for example, this comes up here, bounces off the trend line. If you get trend line break, little flag in here, bear flag, you can take that to go and break this low. You're going to have to watch out for this trend line. If you take the buy, you're going to have to watch out for this trend line because it can come back, break this trend line in here, give you a little bear flag and sell. So it's going to be, you can trade it both ways, but I think the larger, because we don't have any bullish divergence, I think the sell, if you get this sell here, you definitely want to take that. It's going to be a more profitable trade. I think the larger impulse is going to be to the downside, unless you get this trend line, because we really, for the buy, you really want it to break out and then give you the flag out of the trend line, then give you that buy. Bitcoin. So we're getting bearish divergence on here now. So we've got a large sort of a structure in here. We're getting bearish divergence. It's pulling back this candle. So you're going to have to be careful because it could be a flat. So we have a look on the lower time frames. Yeah, you can see this H4 candle, big wick. So this can be an A, B, C for a it'll be an expanding flat by the look of it. So you will have to be careful. This top here still can be broken. We've got the bearish divergence, so you can look for the sell too. It's not really giving us a setup at this stage. You're going to have to wait to see what sort of a setup it gives you. So if this does something like this, well, it's going to give you a bull setup to break that top. If it's going to give you a bear setup, it'll still give you this bull setup. And then you get a trend line break, little bear flag in here, and look for that sell. At this stage, it's too early to say if this is an expanding flat in here, and we go up and break that top, or that's the end of the move. We got the impulse down, and this is an A, B, C in here, and we get more downside. So it's a little bit early to tell. It can go both ways. You're going to have to wait to see. You're going to have to watch the price action basically to see if you get a buy or the sell. S&P 500 didn't really go. I was looking for that X2, at least the X2. It still hasn't gone yet. I'm still expecting more downside. If we look at this here, chart is a little bit messy. Remove some of this. So you can really only sell under this bottom now. It's getting risky. Yeah, it's not looking really nice, this one at the moment. So I'd be leaving this one alone. I've done the DAX last week, so we'll just have a quick look at that. This one gave the nice impulse down. For the flat, there's still room down to the 100 fib. It still hadn't hit that 100 fib. So if we go on the H1, you don't have any bearish divergence, bullish divergence, sorry. So you still can look for the sells. This can be an A, B, C for more downside here. So if you get a little flag in here, you can look for more downside down to that 100 fib. As soon as you start to see this bullish divergence on the H1, you want to start. If you took this flag here or this flag here, or correction, sorry, these are more like corrections than flags. If you took any of these, you definitely want to be, as soon as you're starting to get bullish divergence, you want to start taking these trades off. And we don't have any, like I said, we don't have any bullish divergence yet, so you still can look for sell setups. I'd only be taking the sell setups if you got into one of these up here, though, when you're down here. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the analysis. Like, share, and hit the thumbs up. And enjoy your week, and I'll see you out there next week.